Stop looking into deep space for a moment. Everything you've been told about Antarctica is fundamentally incomplete. We were all taught in school that the bottom of our world is just a vast, empty, and lifeless desert of ice. A frozen wasteland where nothing happens. But what if I told you that modern scientists have recently drilled deep beneath the polar ice caps and discovered anomalies that defy the very laws of biology? What if the greatest answers about Earth's ancient past, and perhaps the definitive proof of extraterrestrial life, were locked under 3 kilometers of solid, crushing ice? Right now, military-grade radars and advanced orbital satellites are detecting unexplained thermal hotspots and geometric structures that geologically shouldn't exist. Over the next 20 minutes, we are going to drill deep beneath the surface of the most isolated place on our planet. If you watch this documentary until the very last second, you will finally understand why the world's most powerful nations came together to sign a strict, classified treaty banning all civilian exploration. What exactly are they trying to hide from the rest of humanity? The paradox of the frozen desert and the terrifying blood falls. To truly comprehend the deep mysteries of Antarctica, we must first shatter a widespread geographic myth. Antarctica is not just a giant block of frozen water. Geologically and meteorologically, it is, in fact, the largest, highest, windiest, and driest desert on the face of the Earth. It receives less annual precipitation than the scorching sands of the Sahara Desert. It is a place of brutal paradoxes. And nowhere is this paradox more terrifyingly visible than at the Taylor Glacier. In the year 1911, a gritty British expedition led by the geophysicist Thomas Griffith Taylor stumbled upon a site that looked like an absolute nightmare. A waterfall gushing a vivid, dark blood-red liquid, staining the pristine white ice for meters. For more than a century, these so-called blood falls fueled terrifying urban legends. Early explorers whispered about dark occult rituals, hidden portals to the underworld, or ancient cosmic entities bleeding out from beneath the crust. For generations, science remained baffled. However, recent subglacial research has finally cracked open a truth that is arguably more mind-boggling than any supernatural theory. The mysterious blood is actually a hypersaline, iron-rich brine. This water was trapped in a massive subterranean reservoir completely sealed off from the rest of the world over 2 million years ago. Because it was buried under a heavy blanket of ice, it never saw the sun, it never felt the wind, and it completely ran out of oxygen. As the glacier shifted, creating deep structural cracks, this ancient, high-pressure water finally forced its way to the surface. The very moment this iron-dense brine made contact with modern oxygen in the air, a chemical reaction took place. The iron oxidized instantly. It rusted on the spot, creating the horrific deep red hue. But the real, chilling mystery that keeps biologists awake at night lies inside that toxic reservoir. Under extreme, crushing pressure, in total pitch-black darkness, and without a single molecule of free oxygen, scientists discovered active, living bacteria. These microscopic organisms did not die out. Instead, they adapted by using iron and sulfur compounds to process energy, creating an evolutionary path entirely separate from the rest of the planet. Antarctica proved that life does not need the sun to survive. It proved that life can conquer the absolute extremes of the cosmos. The buried Alps and the subglacial oceans of Vostok. Imagine for a second that we possessed the technology to instantly melt away all the ice sheets of Antarctica. What would our eyes behold? The answer is geologically staggering. In 1958, during the height of the Cold War, a team of Soviet researchers was traversing the brutal interior of the continent when their seismic equipment and primitive radars picked up something completely impossible: a colossal, jagged mountain range hidden entirely under the ice. These are the Gamburtsev Mountains. We are not talking about small hills. This is an immense chain of picos and steep valleys the physical size of the European Alps, stretching across more than 1,200 kilometers. Yet, they are invisible to the naked eye, buried beneath up to 4 kilometers of solid, compact ice. Because they have been entombed by the frost for over 34 million years, they have suffered zero erosion from wind or rain. They are perfectly preserved in time, a pristine primeval landscape frozen in mid-breath. Deep within this region of ghosts sits Vostok Station, a remote Russian research base famous for recording the absolute lowest natural temperature in the documented history of our planet, a terrifying -89.2 degrees Celsius. Human lungs freeze instantly if unprotected here. Yet, directly beneath the frozen foundations of this terrifying base lies Lake Vostok. It is one of the largest subglacial lakes in the world, a liquid body of fresh water roughly the massive size of Lake Ontario. How can a massive lake remain liquid underneath 4 kilometers of ice at the coldest spot on Earth? The answer lies in physics. The colossal weight of the massive polar ice sheets creates an intensely Esmagadora pressure at the base. This pressure, combined with subtle geothermal heat radiating from the Earth's mantle below, perfectly lowers the melting point of water, preventing it from ever turning into ice. For over 15 million years, this subterranean ocean remained completely untouched by global history. When international teams finally engineered a sterile drill to pierce the ice core and capture samples of this black water, the results shocked the scientific establishment. They recovered complex DNA sequences belonging to thousands of organisms completely unknown to modern taxonomic databases. Lake Vostok is, for all intents and purposes, a functional alien ecosystem thriving in the dark belly of our own world. The green continent and the Cretaceous graveyards. To truly unlock the deep secrets of Antarctica, we have to look past the ice and peer into the deep abyss of geological time. Antarctica was not always the silent kingdom of white. Millions of years ago, before the cataclysmic shifts of continental drift, this landmass sat much closer to the equator. During the Mesozoic and early Cenozoic eras, Antarctica was a vibrant, lush, green continent. It was covered in sweeping temperate rainforests, ancient mossy rivers, and massive prehistoric vegetation. In recent years, as the edges of the northern peninsula experience unprecedented summer melts, paleontologists have rushed to the site. What they are digging up is changing our entire understanding of prehistoric history. In 2016, a massive international expedition on James Ross Island unearthed over a ton of pristine fossils. They discovered the heavy bones of ancient plesiosaurs, colossal marine reptiles that once ruled the southern waters, alongside the terrifying remains of specialized dinosaurs that evolved specifically to handle the long, dark polar nights of the Cretaceous period. Scientists have even found perfectly fossilized tree trunks, complete with distinct growth rings that prove the continent once enjoyed warm, sun-drenched summers. But what truly disturbs climatologists is the sheer, violent speed at which this green paradise came to an end. Geological cores show that when the global ocean currents shifted and atmospheric carbon dioxide dropped millions of years ago, the continent froze over with alarming swiftness. Forests, rivers, swamps, and countless biological species were instantly trapped beneath a growing, suffocating shield of ice. Antarctica became the ultimate biological safe box on Earth. Everything that walked, crawled, or flew across its ancient valleys was perfectly entombed. As modern machinery allows us to scan deeper into the frozen Earth, we are left to wonder, what other complex evolutionary experiments are sitting down there, perfectly preserved, waiting to be thawed? The subglacial ring of fire and the Martian dry valley's elemental fire and perpetual ice are supposed to be absolute opposites. Yet, deep within its frozen chest, Antarctica harbors a volatile, explosive secret that could alter the global climate overnight. Geologists from the University of Edinburgh recently utilized advanced ice-penetrating radar systems and discovered that Antarctica is home to the largest concentration of volcanoes anywhere on the planet. Researchers have officially mapped 138 massive volcanoes entirely buried beneath the West Antarctic ice sheet, and alarming data suggests many of them are completely active. This is the hidden subglacial ring of fire. The undisputed king of this volatile world is Mount Erebus, the southernmost active volcano on Earth. It is a terrifying geological marvel, a peak of ice that contains a literal, churning lake of molten lava that has been burning continuously for decades. The intense geothermal heat escaping from these subglacial giants creates an invisible network of massive underground ice caves. Scientists who have risked their lives to descend into these dark subglacial caverns discovered a shocking reality. While the surface above is blasted by sub-zero blizzards, the air inside these deep ice vaults can reach a highly comfortable 25 degrees Celsius. In these dark, damp, geothermally heated greenhouses, entirely new strains of fungi, microbes, and unclassified organisms are being catalogued by science every single year. And if you think that is bizarre, you must look at the McMurdo dry valleys. Located on the coast, this is the only major region of Antarctica completely devoid of ice or snow. It is a brutal landscape of bare gravel, extreme cold, and absolute desolation. Swept by terrifying katabatic winds that roar down from the polar plateau at speeds exceeding 320 km per hour, any moisture is instantly vaporized. The environment is so chemically, geologically, and atmospheric identical to the frozen crust of Mars that NASA actively uses the dry valleys to test its deep space rovers and autonomous equipment before launching them into the cosmos. To understand alien worlds, we must first master Antarctica. Geopolitical secrets, high-tech ovnis, and the ironclad treaty. Because Antarctica is so deeply isolated, dangerous, and scientifically strange, it has naturally become the ultimate breeding ground for the most enduring geopolitical conspiracy theories in human history. During the chaotic final years of World War II, Nazi Germany launched a massive, highly classified military expedition to the continent, officially claiming a vast territory they named Neuschwabenland, or New Swabia. While mainstream historians maintain this was merely an attempt to secure a whaling base, declassified military records have fueled decades of rumors. Speculation persists that the regime constructed heavily fortified underground bases, using advanced engineering to develop highly experimental aircraft, technologies that eyewitnesses later described as flying saucers, or ovnis. This mystery deepens with the strange anomalies found on modern digital mapping platforms. Every year, internet users flag highly controversial images from Google Earth showing massive, perfectly symmetrical pyramidal formations piercing through the ice sheet. While structural geologists confidently label these as nunatics, natural rocky mountain peaks sharpened over millennia by the harsh erosion of wind and ice, skeptics loudly argue they're the ruined architecture of an advanced, forgotten civilization that built monuments before the historical freeze. But let us set aside the internet rumors and look at concrete, documented political history. In the year 1959, at the very height of the volatile Cold War, 12 major nations came together to sign the historic Antarctic Treaty. This international document did something unprecedented in human civilization. It completely prohibited all military deployments, banned all nuclear testing, outlawed radioactive waste disposal, and strictly forbade any commercial mining or resource extraction. To this day, Antarctica belongs to absolutely no country. It belongs exclusively to peaceful science. For historical realists and political analysts, this absolute, flawless cooperation between fierce, nuclear-armed superpowers like the United States, Russia, and China raises profound questions. Is this treaty truly just an idealistic defense of environmental science? Or is it an ironclad global agreement designed to keep the public away from something monumental buried deep beneath the ice? A discovery so dangerous it could destabilize the entire global balance of power? The opening of the frozen vault. The hard, undeniable truth is that modern humanity currently possesses a better map of the barren surface of the Moon and the rocky plains of Mars than we do of the vast continents sleeping beneath the ice of Antarctica. For thousands of years, the cold has kept its dark secrets perfectly safe. But the world is changing. As global temperatures shift and these ancient, multi-million-year-old ice sheets undergo rapid, unprecedented melting, the great frozen vault of the Earth is slowly breaking open. Pristine extraterrestrial meteorites that fell to Earth eons ago are being gathered from the blue ice. Ancient, dormant prehistoric viruses that our immune systems have never encountered are waking up. And deep geophysical anomalies are coming closer to light. Antarctica is not a dead, static desert of white. It is a ticking, living time capsule. And when that capsule finally shatters completely open, the true history of our planet and the origins of humanity will not just be updated. They will have to be completely rewritten. What do you think is truly happening at the bottom of the world? Is global science sharing every discovery, or is there an active, classified secret buried deep beneath the permafrost? Drop your theories in the comments section down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next investigation.